98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. How are you this morning? I hope everything is good with you, and I hope you can stay with us between now and midday today. We'll be finding out in just a while about an online petition that has been set up. Basically, asking Leo Varadkar to make an exemption of hairstylists for weddings. We'll talk about that in a while. I'll explain exactly what all of that is all about. But before that, I have to tell you a funny story. There we were, sitting in our office earlier on, socially distanced as we are, and by accident, so I'm on my computer, typing away, and by accident, I hit on a YouTube video, and it played through the speakers of my computer. Now, this is perfectly innocent. Anyway, it was playing, and before I got to knock it back off, Jeremy shouted at the top of his voice, "Turn that off, turn that off." Right? And now he's asking me not to play it on the air. This is really funny, right? So by accident, I knocked off a YouTube video. The YouTube video was of a children's character that we probably all know, and some love and some don't love. And as I'm talking to you, Jeremy is shouting in my ear, "Please don't play it, please don't play it." Obviously, I'm going to play it. Wait till you hear this. This is a character from Sesame Street. Okay, and you'll know exactly who he is. Well, there's a couple of them in this clip, but have a listen to this.
Greetings. I have decided to count these blocks again.
Now hold on, Count. Now these are Ernie's blocks. Remember?
you just leave those blocks alone.
Yeah,
You're not
right.
touch my blocks.
I am counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks.
Now, that is, as you will know, the Count from Sesame Street. And I discovered today, bizarrely, that as a kid, and still to this day, our Jeremy was completely and utterly freaked out by the Count in Sesame Street. And he still, to this day, he won't let his young fella watch any Sesame Street in case the Count comes on it, because he doesn't want him to be traumatised either. So just to wind him up, I'm going to play another little bit of the Count. This is the Count from Sesame Street.
Yes. Oh, greetings. It is I, the Count. And it's time to answer that fascinating question. What is the Sesame Street number of the day? Let's count the bats and find out.
Anyway, I want to find out from you. This is quite funny, actually. I want to find out from you, what was that one thing that terrified you as a child? Was it the Count in Sesame Street as it was with our Jeremy? Call me right now on 6797 981 or send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I want you to share with me that one little thing that you were terrified of as a child. I discovered by complete accident today, that our Jeremy was terrified of the Count in Sesame Street.
1, 2, 3. Hold still here. 1, 2, 3. No. 1, 2. Oh, I go absolutely mad at counting bats.
All right. Send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98 and tell me that one thing that terrified you when you were a child. Now, it can be the most ridiculous thing like the Count from Sesame Street, or it can be something a little bit more serious. Ernie!
Hello.
How are you, Ernie?
I'm from Sesame Street.
You're not Ernie from Sesame Street, no?
Oh no.
No.
When I heard Adrian, I said, "Bet you I'm only a 30 from West Sesame Street."
No,
And
no,
then
it's the count. It's the count is
Yeah,
the one
count,
that.
Yeah, the count. Yeah, the count.
So
That was the one, yeah.
when I accidentally played that in the office earlier on, Jeremy shouted, "Turn that off!" I discovered that he was terrified of the count as a kid.
Yeah, that's same here, yeah.
Oh, you were as well?
Yeah, the count, yeah.
Oh, he completely freaked you out.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
And you know, he did have fangs. He did have big, long teeth.
Yeah.
And he looked like Count Dracula.
Yeah, remember, yeah.
So he terrified you as well?
Yeah, freaky out was, yeah.
You're not by any chance named after Ernie in Sesame Street, are you?
I hope not.
You hope not, right? Why, were you afraid of him as well?
Well, I was a bit optimistic about him as well, I was, you know.
Okay, but anyway, the count off Sesame Street terrified you as well?
Yeah.
All right, good man, Ernie. Thank you. I'd love to hear from you on 6797981 or send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. What was that one little thing that as a kid it terrified you? For Jeremy and for Ernie, it doesn't have to be a person, by the way. It can be anything that just terrified you as a kid. Here's a WhatsApp voice note.
Back in the day, there was a restaurant on the Colmore Road where Postman Pat used to appear sometimes in a giant costume, and he jumped out at me one day and absolutely frightened the life out of me. And I wasn't the better for most of my childhood and had a major fear of anyone in a big costume. I'm still not even great with them today, to be honest.
Okay, big costumes on character costumes where you can't see somebody's face. What is the one thing or person or place that terrified you as a child? Veronica.
Morning.
You were also terrified of the count?
Terrified.
Really?
Terrified.
I used to love him because he was he was so good at counting.
No, ran out of the
I mean, he wasn't a stupid count. He was a very clever count.
Yeah, you're not going to win this one, Adrian.
Oh, right. So as soon as the count would come on Sesame Street, you would lose your you-know-what? I'd
just run out of the room. Like, just, yeah, terrified. Stop.
So when you heard him on the radio, did it bring back that fear?
Yeah, no, not good.
Oh,
I think in the whole vampire thing.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah. I mean, he was the Count, but he was Count Dracula, I suppose, wasn't it? And
yeah.
Oh, in fact, his name is, I've just been told, his official name is Count von Count. So there you go. He's really into counting. Okay, but he terrified you as well. Thank you, Veronica. Samantha sent me this.
Hi, Adrian. When I was young, I used to be absolutely freaked out from the guy that's in Power Rangers, you know, Zordon, I think his name is. He's like the big floating head. Oh my God, he used to absolutely terrify me as a child. Thanks, Adrian. Love the show. Bye.
Thank you, Samantha. What was that one thing or place or person that absolutely terrified you when you were a child? Lisa.
My husband was freaked out by Fraggle Rock.
Oh, by the whole show? I mean, they were a bit freaky, the Fraggle Rockers. Right, okay. Mike sent me this. Oh, yeah, this used to get to me. This used to get to me when I was a kid. His eyes would turn white, and then he'd start ripping his shirt off, and he'd turn green.
Morning, Jeremy and Adrian. Yeah, when I was a kid, when I was small, the Incredible Hulk used to scare the bejesus out of me. When the eyes started going and he started to go, "Rrr." Yeah, that was me, gone behind the couch. I'd say I was about 8 years of age. Loving the show, lads. Have a good one.
Thanks very much, Mike. Yes, the Hulk, when he was turning from David Banner... Now, you have to be of a certain age to remember this show even, but he would his eyes would turn this evil white colour, and then he'd rip his shirt off and he'd turn green, and it just was very abnormal now, to be honest. Renata, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Renata.
Good morning. How are you?
Now, what is that one thing that used to freak you out as a kid?
You know the movie Beethoven?
the huge dog in it.
Oh, the dog, yeah.
Oh, I'm absolutely terrified of him. I couldn't watch it. I'm still afraid of big dogs in this.
Now, Beethoven, he was a St. Bernard or something, wasn't he?
He was, yes. And when I was about 6 or 5, I got bitten by the dogs. Two dogs attacked me, and that movie, every time I sit there and I watch it, and I can just feel the power of the jaws of that dog. It used to terrify me.
Now I'm looking at a photograph of Beethoven, and on the video box it says the head of the family is the one with the tail.
There you go.
But he was a lovely dog.
No, Jose. The big dogs are not lovely dogs. Nope.
Oh,
they
right,
just
okay.
have too much power over us.
Right, so you were totally freaked out by the
oh my God!
Beethoven
And I think
dog.
they released the second movie or the third one even after that.
You didn't
and
have
I
any.
was saying to my mum, is it twice had enough? It's terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying.
Oh, brilliant. I love it. All right, fair play. Thanks, Renata. Keep them coming in. 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. I want to find out what was that one thing or person or place that you were completely freaked out by as a child. It can be absolutely anything. Lorraine, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thanks, Lorraine. What was that one thing that freaked you out as a child?
Oh, my God. Well, I don't know whether many people remember it, but it used to frighten the life out of me, and he was called Cat Weasel.
Cat Weasel?
Yeah.
I have to
He was like a scary version of Wurzel Gummidge.
Oh, right. Cat Weasel. Hang on, I'm going to have a look now. I don't remember Cat Weasel.
Oh, he was very scary.
Oh, look at him. Oh, no. Oh, he does look a bit like Wurzel Gummidge. He's a freaky looking man, isn't he?
Yeah, that used to be on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, look at his eyes. His eyes would freak you out.
Oh, yeah, he used to just give me the heebie-jeebies. I wouldn't be able to sleep now if I had seen him at all. It used to scare the life out of me when I was a kid.
Now, so he looks a bit like Wurzel Gummidge. What was his deal? What was the show even about? I don't even remember the show, to be quite honest.
It was, I think he lived in the barn or something like that, if I can remember rightly. I'm not too sure. But I know the kids of the local village used to pal around with him.
Oh.
But he was a bit of a simpleton kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? He was a bit dim, and I can't actually remember the programme that well because I never really watched it.
Right, you were that freaked out by it. Now, a lot of people used to be freaked out by Wurzel Gummidge on the telly, including Elsie, who sent me this message.
I was absolutely petrified of Wurzel Gummidge growing up. Every time he took his head off and he would change heads, and he was just like some creepy old scarecrow that, you wouldn't want to meet in the dark. I just couldn't get over the fear of Wurzel Gummidge. Oh, even the thoughts of him now.
Did you ever watch Wurzel Gummidge, Lorraine?
Yeah, and Aunt Sally.
And Sally, she was lovely, but Wurzel taking his head off was a bit freaky now, it has to be said.
Yeah, he had his happy head and his Sunday head.
And his
yeah.
I'd love to
he wasn't as scary now as Cat Weasel.
Cat Weasel. Like I said, for anybody who doesn't know Cat Weasel, I didn't know Cat Weasel, but just Google.
I'm showing my age now.
No, but I just Googled a photograph of him, and good God, I can see how that'd terrify a child.
I know.
Good to talk to you, Lorraine. Thanks very much indeed. Keep them coming in. What was that one thing, place, whatever, that you were terrified of as a child? This is from Tara.
When I was a kid, I was absolutely terrified of the child catcher in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and the Banshee and Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Oh God, no, I was absolutely terrified. If I watched that, I'd have nightmares for weeks.
And Tara, you're not alone. The amount of people who've actually texted in that exact same thing. The child catcher in, Caroline.
Hi, Adrian. As about 5-year-old, my brother let me watch It the Clown. So for at least the next 8 years, I was terrified of shores. I wouldn't go anywhere near them.
Okay, but you probably shouldn't have been watching it at that age. Avril was afraid of a song.
This song, Stay, by Shakespeare Sisters, used to freak me and my little brother out when the part that she came on and she looked like real evil. I used to hide behind the sofa every time he came on.
Really? So this is the song that she's referring to.
If this world is wearing thin.
Now, if I remember rightly, in that song, she screams kind of loudly, doesn't she? Let's have a listen. Hang on now.
When your bride is on the floor, I'll make you beg for more. Stay with me.
I'm trying to remember the video of it. I must have a look at the video a little bit later on, but that was what freaked her out completely. Shakespeare's Sister and the video for Stay. So, Jess, I can relate to this, and I was a grown adult at the time, but these always just freaked me out. I just thought they were just ridiculously weird.
Good morning. I used to hate the Teletubbies, especially when the child came up and down in the sun. Used to freak me out. Still does. Most of them cartoons did anyway. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Jess. Yeah, the Teletubbies back in the 90s, I thought they were just the weirdest things ever. Claire was afraid of a particular type of occupation when she was a child.
Hi Adrian, when I was younger I used to be afraid of like the bin men and the bin lorries. Be afraid that like they'd throw me in it or something.
This is Rebecca.
Hi Adrian, I'm literally terrified of the Muppets. Like, I've been terrified of the Muppets since Miss Piggy hit the bong or whatever it's called, and it's literally just freaked me out since.
The Muppets? All of them? Now, Miss Piggy, I guess, she was a bit... I mean, she didn't treat Kermit very well, did she? Andreas.
Hi, Adrian. Definitely zombies. And when I watch World War Z and seeing how fast they can move, even worse. I'm 49 years old.
And he's on the line here. Andreas, 49 years old.
Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning. And tell me what it is, the zombies.
Well, it was bad enough when they were slow moving. But when, 28 Days came out, 28 days later, was it? And of course, World War Z, especially that Jerusalem wall scene. Oh my God. When they started stacking on top of each other to get over the wall.
Yeah, I do remember it.
Yeah, that was definitely me done. Actually, just as you were talking there, I was thinking there was another film with Ryan Reynolds called Buried. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No.
No, right. So basically he wakes up and he's buried in a coffin. All he has is a mobile phone and a lighter. But at one stage during the film, a bloody snake manages to crawl itself into the coffin, and that was me done as well.
Oh, right. I'm just looking at... oh, yeah. Oh, I do remember this movie.
Oh, such a great movie. And it was all him, nobody else.
Yeah, and he's... Oh, yeah. Sorry, I do remember it. I'm just looking at the pictures of it.
Do you remember the black snake at the bottom of the coffin?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
I tell you what, talk about taking your feet up above the couch.
Yeah. Good man. Thank you, Andreas. Liz, what were you afraid of as a child?
Oh, God. It was so ridiculous, but I used to drive down the corner. When I used to go visit my cousins, we used to drive by a farm.
Yeah.
We had the big, the metal milk. I think they're milk containers, but the huge ones.
Yeah, where they put the milk into, and take it off to be processed.
And I was just petrified of them. I used to hide, I don't know, it's very irrational.
So this is the big container at the back of a truck that they fill with milk to take it off to be No.
The one's actually on the farm. You don't see many of them. I presume they're milk. I googled them and it says milk. They're ginormous metal containers that to be on a farm.
And they put milk into them.
I think they're milk. I'm not sure. Maybe someone can correct me on that, but whatever they were huge.
But it's a big giant steel container on a farm.
Yeah. I used to have to look at them.
Do you know why?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I must ask my dad because I used to be terrified and he used to be driving. And I remember they were in Loud, near Cullen, I think.
Right.
But I used to be
I'm not too bad now, I think. I think I'm okay now, but they used to petrify me.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious, I know.
All right, Liz, thanks very much indeed. Paul sent me this.
As a kid, I could never watch Wonderly Wagon. At the start of the programme, the fat outfit with the cap on him that drove the old horse and wagon, I don't know, he looked pervy to me.
Oops. Gabby.
Hi guys, I was really afraid of Pinocchio, and it was just the music. When it started off like this, it was just so creepy, and just the fact that the puppet just going to have a big nose, it was so spooky. Bye.
Thank you, Gabby. Karen, I can relate to this one because I think he was the freakiest thing ever in a movie ever, and it was
Edward Scissorhands.
like, seriously, what person has scissor hands? It was just so freaky, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just, even now, I'm a grown woman, and even thinking about it now nearly brings tears to my eyes. I can't deal with it. My kids have watched it a few times, and I haven't been able to sit with them to watch it.
Well, hang on, I'm just looking at a photograph of Edward Scissorhands, and first he was freaky looking anyway, without the scissor hands. I mean, he's a goth sort of look, pale skin.
But any of those Tim Burton films are just a bit out there.
Yeah, but Edward Scissorhands is definitely one of them. It was,
yeah.
And just looking at the photographs, that would send a shiver up your spine. Great to talk to you, Karen. Thanks very much, Susan.
Hello.
What was the one? Oh, this is showing your age, but go on anyway.
No, it's not really showing my age.
Go on.
But years ago, when we used to be decorating our tree, my mum would always put on that Christmas song with the fella with the big beard. I think his name was Roy Wood, I think.
Yeah.
And I was petrified of him. Petrified.
This is Roy Wood and a band called Wizards, they were.
Wizards,
Hang on, if you hear this song. Now, again, Roy Wood looked a bit like he had a beard and...
He was weird.
Yeah, he was a little bit odd, all right, to be honest.
There was loads of children all around him. It was even weirder.
And he was this creepy, in the middle of all the kids. I remember it, yeah.
He's just creepy. I used to hide behind the cushions. oh my God.
And if you want to laugh, Google the video, look at the video on YouTube, because it does look really, really freaky, it has to be said.
It's a bit strange.
Thank you, Susan. Audrey sent me this WhatsApp voice note.
Hi, Adrian. I always remember when I was a kid, absolutely and utterly terrified of Peter and the Wolf. It was a small record my mum had gotten me, and still to this day, I actually came across it recently in my dad's house, and it was terrifying. The music, it was like an orchestra, tiny little record, and you followed the story, and it just terrified me. Yeah, still does. I'm talking about it. Thanks.
Thank you. This is Gas. This is from Michael.
Hey, Adrian. Still afraid of the car wash, but I put on a brave face when I'm going through it with me little one.
Yes. I never understood people being afraid of the car wash. I always loved the car wash. Peter.
Hey, Adrian. Peter here. I used to be terrified of tractors as a very young kid. To me, they were big, monstrous type things. And if I ever heard one coming down the road where I lived, I used to run from it. I was terrified of them. I love them now, funny enough. But yeah, especially the ones with the mechanical shovels, the big things. I don't know. They just terrify me.
Thanks very much, Peter. And last one from Anna.
You think Teletubbies are weird? Look up Tiddlytubbies. They're Teletubby babies.
And I just got sent a photograph of Tiddlytubbies. And they're Teletubby babies. Oh, they're really, really freaky. Anyway, they were brilliant. Mine was the dice man in town used to frighten the life out of me. Now, I have to say, the dice man in town, Tom McGinnity, used to scare the living daylights out of me as well, and I was a grown man. But he was amazing. He was brilliant. Tom McGinnity, known as the Dice Man, but he used to perform on the streets of Dublin. He was amazing, but my God, he'd terrify you. He really would. Anyway, they were great memories. Thanks very much indeed for all of your things that terrified you as a child. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. We're back in a second.
The sound of the city, from Kilbarrack to Kiltiernan. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
And we are here until midday today. I hope everything is good with you. Now, one of the big things for a woman on her wedding day is having her hair and makeup professionally done. It's very important for a lot of women. But under current level 5 restrictions, it's not actually possible. I didn't even realise this was an issue until today. If you're getting married in the next 5.5 weeks, you can't get your hair or makeup done by a professional. Now, we know that the hair salons have closed down, that the beauty salons, the nail bars have all closed down until the start of December. But weddings can still go ahead with 25 people. That was something that the government announced last week. So weddings can continue. You can still attend a wedding with up to 25 people. But the bride will have to do her own makeup, because you can't have a makeup artist or a hairstylist for your wedding. So, with that in mind, a lady called Irene Terry, who is a wedding photographer, has set up this petition online saying, at the moment, hairstylists and makeup artists are not deemed an essential service on a wedding morning. Please help get this poor decision overturned. Now, there is a belief, as I said, that every bride should feel special and fabulous on her wedding day. And we want to find out whether or not you think these restrictions are essentially ruining the wedding day. Should this be overturned? And I want to hear from women. Would you get married knowing that you couldn't have your hair and makeup done professionally? Call me right now on 6797981 or send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Irene Terry joins me on the line to tell us a little bit more about the petition. Irene, what made you decide to go on to change.org and set up a petition looking for these services to be available for brides?
I just felt it was another blow to us, basically, all of us in the wedding industry. Like, we've had our lights switched off since this began. Nobody seems to care about us. We're just left behind, like, you know, the music industry, hair and makeup, wedding photographers, videographers, everyone, like, you know, and we're all kind of in this together. And we kind of know a lot of people as well, you know, that work for themselves. And I just felt it was just awful because they spend so much money on, like, new equipment, PPE gear, and it's just taken off them now again. It's just ridiculous, you know?
Now, obviously, with the restrictions that we have in place, weddings can still go ahead with a limit of 25 people. And in fact, we spoke about that on this programme last week, and some of the weddings with 25 people turn out to be great occasions.
Oh, they are, yeah.
But unlike the last couple of months with those smaller weddings, brides can't get their hair and makeup done now, and that's a huge issue, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, I mean, there's no women in government, is there, like, speaking up for the women of Ireland, you know? I mean, imagine spending 2,000 or 3,000 euro, even more, on your wedding dress for a particular look you have in your head, and you can't even get your hair and your makeup done. I mean, it's an extremely safe and professional environment. These people know what they're doing, like, you know? Like, and all they're asking for is, like, an hour maybe with the bride in the morning. They don't even want to see the bridal party, just want to get the bride started. You know, like, and like, they set the tone as well for the whole day. You know, your hair and your makeup artist. Like, I mean, if you have a stressed bride in the morning, those girls will actually calm the bride down for you. So, like, imagine, as a photographer, like, if we're going in to a house in the morning and the bride has to do her own hair and makeup, imagine the stress, you know, and they'll actually show in the photographs as well, you know, like, the stress in the girl's face. It's just awful, I think.
Now, over the next couple of weeks, we obviously have these level 5 restrictions, which has shut down salons, shut down hairdressers and barbers and all of that. But you want to see an exception being made for brides at weddings. Anecdotally, are there many weddings taking place over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Like, because at least the brides, like, and the couples, they've got some clarity now because they know that they're allowed 25 until Christmas, whereas before they didn't know whether it was going to be 6, 50, 25. But at least they know now they can get married at 25, and they know that this virus isn't going away. So, like, if they want to get married, they can. But it's like, you can get married, but no, you can't have these extra things. You know, that kind of a way.
That are obviously essential as part of the day for a bride getting married.
That you would think it would be essential, like hair and makeup would be an essential thing to have on your wedding day. Like, and there hasn't been any cases from weddings. You know, so like, I just don't know where they got this from. No hair and makeup. I mean, who sat down and thought of this? Like, you know? It just doesn't make any sense to me, really.
OK, now your petition is flying along. If anybody wants to sign this petition, which is to allow for an exemption for brides to get their hair done on their wedding day, a wedding that will be small enough with only 25 people, where do I go to sign that petition?
It's on change.org, and I'm going to actually pop a link up there now to my business page. It's Ray Terry Photography on Facebook, so I'm going to pop a link onto that there now as well, because I'm after getting messages there as well now looking for the link. So I'll pop it onto our Facebook page, and if they wanted to go into change.org, they could go in there and they can find it, like makeup artists and hairstylists.
We'll similarly put a link up onto our Facebook page right now at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. And hopefully you can get the signatures up even further. What will you do with that petition then? Who will you send it to, or who
I'm going to
can
send
you
it to
send
Leo
it to?
Varadkar, really, because he is the Minister for Business, Trade and Employment, like, and if he doesn't want to see another 45,000 people out of a job, you know, if he just send it to him and see what he does with it.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I have emailed Micheál Martin on a personal note, you know, for my own situation about weddings and stuff, and he just basically sent me back the budget plan in an email, so I won't be emailing him anyway.
Okay. So Leo's the man you're going to be targeting to let him know that this is a very important thing and a small enough exemption if it were to be granted.
A small enough, yeah. I mean, it's not a lot to ask, really. Like, you know, just hair and makeup. It's for a bride, it's huge, but for them that make the decisions, like, it's not really that big, you know.
All right. Well, once again, we've put up the link to your petition on our Facebook page right now at facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D if anybody wants to sign that online right now. Irene, thank you very much indeed for talking to us on 98
No
FM.
problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and once again, if you want to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D, it's at the top of our page right now if you want to go to that petition. And people commenting already, some saying, oh my God, in fact one message says, first the gyms and the outcry over not being able to buy clothes, and now this. I don't believe there isn't a family member who can't do the bride's hair or makeup. What next? Says that message. And in fact, we got a message from Mark, who's not happy with this.
Morning, guys. How are we? God, is it April Fool's joke today? Is it April Fool's Day today? You're kidding me. Complaining about getting their hair or makeup done and more important things to worry about. People losing jobs, etc. Oh, guys, get over yourself, will you? That's not going to stop you from getting married anyway. God, is it just an Instagram sort of generation, is it? Cheers, guys.
Okay, he's not happy at all. Nicola, you manage 3 wedding bands, is that right?
I do indeed. How are you doing?
And you're a singer yourself?
I am.
What do you think of this petition to at least allow makeup artists and hairstylists do a bride for a wedding day?
Yeah, I think it's just because it's happened on such short notice that it's just kind of stunned everybody. But I do think that they should allow brides and grooms to have makeup and hair dressing on their big day, you know.
Because again, weddings are allowed to continue, and to continue with 25 people, which is what we've had for the last few weeks. We spoke about this on the show last week, and it sounds like some weddings with 25 people are actually great fun, even though you might think, oh my God, it's very small. Am I right to understand that if a wedding is going ahead in the next couple of weeks, that you can't have live music?
That's true, yeah. It was actually last Wednesday. I just saw a post come up on, I don't know if you know the association, MEAI, it's Music Entertainment Association of Ireland,
right,
on Facebook, and they put up a post saying like the new restrictions from Fáilte Ireland, and that it was just a guideline, but because of these guidelines from Fáilte Ireland, the whole of the wedding hotel federation are actually cancelling weddings or music for weddings because of this.
And from what I can see, some hotels are allowing a DJ or a band or whatever, and others aren't. So it seems a bit confusing. Is that right?
That's right. We're just waiting to hear from different barristers and from the actual government themselves of concrete guidelines whether music can go ahead or not. So poor bride and grooms, they're all over the place.
Well, that's awful, yeah. So on the one hand, we got a bit of certainty last week because we were worried that level 5 was going to mean only 6 people at a wedding. And then the government came out and they said, no, we'll leave it at 25. You can continue with your weddings between now and Christmas at 25. And that was great. And then there's the mixed messaging about the fact that you can go ahead with your wedding, but you can't have any music at it.
Yeah, and it just kind of happened literally overnight. And like we lost work, 2 days in advance, so like we're struggling for rent as it is. And now our work has completely been taken from under our feet with no warning. There's no plan in place. There's no concrete guidelines whatsoever. So it's a mess.
I mean, it does seem a little bit odd that you're going to allow 25 people to gather. And that's grand. I mean, 25 people isn't a huge amount of people. Even if there was an outbreak of the virus at a wedding with 25 people, it's only 25 people. But then I just can't get my head around why you wouldn't allow them to get up on their feet and dance, all 25 of them.
Yeah. I don't know what they're afraid of.
Like, does music spread the virus more?
Well, no. I mean, like, we should always keep a safe distance from people and tell them not to approach the band, the stage, And
is that what you've been doing, yeah?
Yeah, like, I mean, I obviously have to downsize to a duo. So, like, we're not allowed to have, like, the full 5-piece or the full 9-piece.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Okay, so a duo playing the music, which is grand.
Yeah.
And then you would announce for people to try and keep their distance. And I've seen a couple of videos from a couple of weddings, and people are behaving by the looks of it.
They are indeed. Like, I mean, people are still kind of afraid, of catching it or spreading it or whatever. So they don't actually back the maggot, at the weddings. They're generally fine,
Right, so it does seem a little bit strange on the one hand to be told weddings can go ahead with 25 people, but you can't have music, you can't get your makeup done. And is the bar even open if you are having a wedding?
You can't approach the bar apparently, but in some places I have seen, people go up. To be honest with you, it's just all over the place.
Yeah, it is a little bit,
guidelines. Everybody's like, oh, can I do this, can I do that? And nobody knows.
It actually would have been, I know a lot of people wouldn't want this, but it would have been much simpler if they had said only 6 people between now and Christmas, rather than saying, well, it can go ahead with 25, but you just have to all sit around the room, not even talking to each other.
Exactly, yeah, no first dance, or father-daughter dance, that kind of thing.
But again, it is a confused message in that some hotels are allowing music and others aren't.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, okay, well, we'll have to try and get answers to that. Dermot, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Dermot.
Morning, Adrian, how are you?
Good, Dermot. What do you want to say on this?
Adrian, I think this is all a whole about nothing, to be honest with you, because there's an easy walk around this. I can guarantee you that makeup artists and stylists are going to be like hen's teeth in the next month or so. It'll be that hard to get a hold of. I can see stylists teaming up with makeup artists and hitting brides' houses all over Ireland. And it's very simple. What's the guards going to do? Knock at your door and say, who are they? Oh, they're my friends.
Yeah, no, I know that, yeah. And it happened during the last much stricter lockdown regime. But I think even this time it's going to be, or it is, I've no doubt that people who are out of work because their salon is closed are doing nixers all over the place.
I can guarantee it, and it'll be the best few quid you ever get in the run up to Christmas. You probably make more out of it than you will in. That's being honest with you.
All right.
But,
well, what about an exemption being made for stylists and hairstylists and makeup artists for a wedding?
100%. Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's the woman's. You know, it's our most special day. It's what she lives for. You know, everything has to be perfect. But I have one issue though, and it's a question that I'd like to put to your listeners if you can help me out, Adrian.
Go on.
If there's no such thing as an ugly bride, where do all the ugly wives come from?
Good luck, Dermot. We'll take a quick break. We're back in a second.
The sound of the city from Balbriggan to Blanchardstown. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
So last week when level 5 restrictions were introduced to take us up to the end of November, we had initially expected, because it was included in the level 5 plan, that weddings would be restricted to 6 people while we're in level 5. And then the government came out and said, no, it's okay, you can go ahead with your wedding with 25 people. Now we're being told that some hotels will allow you to have live music, others won't. And you also, if you're a bride, you can't get your makeup and your hair done. Now, we're asking whether or not there should be an exemption made of hairstylists and makeup artists for a wedding, specifically for the bride. Over the next couple of weeks, there's quite a number of weddings actually going ahead between now and the end of November with 25 people. You can even travel outside your 5 kilometres specifically to go to a wedding. And we're asking whether or not that exemption should be granted. Now, Niamh, you are due to get married next year.
Yeah, correct.
What would it mean to you if you were told, yeah, you can go and get married, all right, but you can't get your hair done or your makeup done?
Oh, I wouldn't do it. I'd cancel it.
Simple as?
Yeah, simple as. I couldn't think of anything worse than on my wedding day to have to do my own hair and my own makeup. I just think the stress of it. I just think it'd be awful.
Yeah, because obviously a bride on her wedding day is the focus of everyone's attention. They're looking at you, they're looking at your dress, they're looking... Yeah, you're literally the centre of attention for the day. Even they don't look at the man as much as they do. But that's the truth of it. But you want to look your best.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, like, you have your pictures that you'll always look back on. And especially if you're not the most creative person, that you wouldn't be the best at doing makeup.
Yeah.
Why would you want to look back at pictures in 10, 20 years' time, whatever, and be like, oh,
look at the hack of me, yeah.
The hack of me, and I'm not happy with how I'm looking. You know, it's just your one day that you'll fork out that money, you'll spend the money on your hair and your makeup.
But is this not just vanity gone mad here? Like, you're allowed to have the wedding, but you can't get your makeup done. Whoop-de-doo. Or is this just a man saying that?
I think probably 90% of women will say it's probably you just being a man saying that.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think it's your wedding day. Yes, getting married, it's the most important thing, but there are other elements of the wedding that make it feel so special, and that's including looking your best and wanting to feel your best.
And come here, when is the wedding due?
So we cancelled it. It was supposed to be in May there, so we've June next year now. June next year.
So you'd like to hope that we'll be able to have a proper wedding by then. You'll be able to get your hair and your makeup done.
I'd like to hope so anyway, yeah.
Yeah. But if we were in a situation like we are now with 25 people, no music and no makeup or hair done, you'd postpone it again, would you?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Even no music at a wedding, it just...
Now, it does sound tedious. In fact, a woman sent me, or is it a man? I'm not sure. But sent me a message. My son got married on the 11th of September and no music was allowed. Now, I'm just wondering, what sort of a vibe would that have been at a wedding?
Yeah, like, it doesn't sound... Look, each to their own. But for me, it wouldn't be like they're saying that you can't have any live entertainment now. So I seen something the other day. Someone said they were going to have bingo at their wedding to try and
really
entertain it. Yeah.
Well, Well, okay, yeah, they haven't banned bingo at weddings.
Yeah. I know people are being creative and they're thinking of other ways, but...
That's actually very clever, really. But how many are you hoping to have at your wedding?
Our original list was 250, so we kind of accept it. Yeah, it's not going to be that.
Would you go ahead with 25?
No, probably. No, I wouldn't go ahead with 25 because we've both big families, so it
right,
wouldn't
there'd be murder.
There'd
be murder, yeah. All right, stay there for a second, Niamh. Robin, you completely disagree with this whole idea of makeup artists and hairstylists getting an exemption for brides for weddings. Why?
Okay, hi.
Hi.
I just think that end of the day, it's love. You're marrying for love, not for how you look like. So on your wedding day, if you want to go in shorts and flip-flops and just get married, that's what it's all about. So if you don't get your hair and makeup done, it's not the end of the world.
Okay, in fact, we just got a message in this very second saying, marriage is for love, not vanity. Get your pictures photoshopped. So, Niamh, could you not do that if you had to go ahead? Get the pictures photoshopped.
No, I think I'll just hold out until I can get a makeup artist.
Robin, a lot of people agree with this. I spoke to a couple of months back during the height of our lockdown who got married in their local pub. There was only 6 people at it, and it was all lovely, and it was all for love and all of that, yeah? But some people want the big day, and like we were saying a second ago to Niamh, when you are a bride on your wedding day, you are the focus of attention. Everybody's looking at what you're wearing, how you look, what your hair's like. So you want to, look the part, don't you?
Of course you want to look the part, but the thing is, like, if you're going to have a wedding, do it now. Do it in the registry office. Get your marriage cert. Do the thing that you want to do for the purpose of getting married, not for getting dressed up and, be the Barbie for the day. Go get married, and then in the future, if you want to do the whole big thing, do it. And then you can invite them out.
That's true. You could have a party in the future, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So there's no need.
So in other words,
your husband needs to accept you for the way you look and the way you are. And if your family or friends want to judge you for your hair being a mess on the day, it's not about them. It's about you and your husband. That's it.
Okay, so the point being, if you want to get married, you can get married, and if you want to have a big party, you can have that next year, hopefully.
Exactly, or in the future, in 20 years if you want, make it extra special, you know?
No, Niamh's putting her wedding off if it's going to be like this, isn't that right, Niamh?
That's right, yeah. I think as well, like, it's not just what that lady was saying there, about people judging you. It's not about people judging you. It's about how you feel as well on your wedding day. When
actually, here's something really bizarre that's just dawned on me. Niamh, if you were getting married tomorrow, you can't get yourself groomed, okay?
Right.
But you can get your dog groomed.
Oh, for God's sake!
It's actually true.
The dog should be in the pictures.
This is true. We got our dog Sparky groomed yesterday, and you can't get groomed if you were getting married tomorrow. That seems a little bit strange, all right. All right, thank you both of you. We'll take a quick break. Some of your WhatsApp voice notes after the break. Don't go away. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Laura with Wednesday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. 10 people are due in court this morning in connection with an investigation into the identification of one of the boys who killed Anna Creagel. One person has already been charged as part of the investigation into the circulation of images. The boys, who were 14 at the time of being convicted, can't be identified because of their age. Gardaí began an investigation after images claiming to be one of the boys were circulated on social media, with one person appearing in court last week. A third post-mortem exam will take place this morning on the body of one of 3 men found dead on a farm in County Cork. The bodies of Tig O'Sullivan and his sons Mark and Diarmuid were found with gunshot wounds in an apparent murder-suicide. It's believed the older son Mark had been killed in his bedroom, and it's unclear what happened to the other 2 men after that. And a man is due in court this morning in connection with a €94,000 drug seizure in the city centre. Cannabis herb tablets and 6 fake guns were discovered on Monday evening when Gardaí carried out a search in Gardner Street. And now you're up to date on 98.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
Just one or two more calls on what we've been talking about, and that is whether an exemption should be made for hairstylists and makeup artists to be allowed to do a bit of work on the bride on her wedding day over the next couple of weeks. Terry, you're on 98 FM. Hi, you Terry.
How's it going, Adrian? How are you?
Good, thank you, Terry. Your point is, should they normally go to the house anyway?
Yeah, they don't go to the house, so who's going to know that it's happening? Who's going to know they're there? And then if they can't claim that they've done the job, they'll have to do it as a cash-in-hand job, so the government lose out on their taxes then.
Right, so what, you can still get it done really if you want, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I'm sure, at this stage, the stylists and the makeup artists or whatever will be they'd be going to the house anyway to do the makeup, so...
You're not really allowed, you're not really meant to have visitors to your house, isn't that the problem?
You're not really meant to have 1,000 people protesting in Dublin, but it still happens every weekend.
Well, that's true. That's very, very true. All right, let's have a listen to a couple of your WhatsApps. Claire.
Don't they get makeup done when they're making public appearances and stuff like that? Sure, what, someone just flinging that from the slingshot 20 feet away from them, or they obviously have someone in their house doing it.
Darren sent me this.
Lads, I get what you're saying about weddings, about hairdressers and makeup artists. But is a wedding really essential? Do they have to get it done while we're in level 5? Is it that essential? Can they not put it off like everyone else has? There's always someone, every single day there's someone saying that, oh, well, I should be allowed open because of this, or I should be allowed to do this because of that. No. Just stick to the restrictions, lads. Jesus. What's so hard to comprehend? I get her. She wants to work. She's a photographer. I get it. Totally get it. But it's only for another couple of weeks. And then if you go to level 3, then barbers will be back open, everything else will be back open. So just tell them to hang on. Getting married is not essential. Getting divorced is. Have a great day, lads.
Thank you, Darren. This is from Chris.
The man's a clown there saying, is this the Instagram generation? Would he be saying that if it was his own wife's wedding? No, I don't think so. Simple solution to all of this. Hair and makeup mixers.
Okay, Eamon thinks these people need a reality check.
Hi Adrian, it's Eamon here. There's people sick and dying all around the country, and all these people are worried about their hair and makeup. I mean, come on. Cheers, thanks.
All right, Eamon, thank you. Laura.
Adrian, just a quick one on your question there about hair and makeup at a wedding. I think it's absolutely appalling that a bride can't get her hair and makeup done on her wedding day. And I understand people are saying, there's bigger things happening, there's people dying, there's people in hospitals, people losing their jobs. Absolutely. But as a bride who got married 3 weeks ago, hair and makeup and having your hair and makeup done professionally, I mean, it just makes you feel absolutely beautiful on your wedding day, and it is part of the day. And now that they are letting weddings go ahead until the end of the year, I really think that needs to be changed. On another note, I just think how the government has handled the whole wedding thing since the start of the pandemic has been absolutely appalling. We were originally meant to get married in July, we had to postpone. Then it turns out we could have got married on our original date because they changed the guidelines again. Now we got to have our wedding with 25 people. Actually, under the guidelines at the time that we got married, our guests couldn't travel outside the county, but we could. Now guests can, but you can't get hair and makeup done, you can't have a band. I mean, I just think they're changing the goalposts every week or two, and it's really unfair on couples trying to plan a wedding. And there are reasons that people need to get married now or want to get married now that they don't want to postpone to next year or to the year after indefinitely. And I think there needs to be a little bit of understanding about that. And like you said, 25 people is not a lot. They're your closest circle of friends that I'm probably mixing with anyway.
All right, thank you very much indeed. Samantha sent me this message. She thinks this is very important.
Hey Adrian, that's ridiculous. You should be able to get your hair and makeup done for your wedding. I'm getting married next June, and if I couldn't get my hair and makeup done, I wouldn't be getting married.
No, fair enough. Robbie.
If a woman cancelled a wedding because she couldn't get her face painted, well, then that relationship is never going to last anyway. I mean, you're getting married because you're in love, not because you look like you've been to Mexico. Stop the lights. Love the show, lads.
Robbie, can I play the message that I just played directly before yours again?
Hey Adrian, that's ridiculous. Like, you should be able to get your hair and makeup done for your wedding. I'm getting married next June, and if I couldn't get my hair and makeup done, I wouldn't be getting married.
Yeah, okay, Robbie, she wouldn't be getting married. Jess sent me
Hey,
this.
lads, have to say, I'm a hairdresser, and I do know that there is a few doing weddings rather than let the bride down. It's a whole part of the morning, the hair, the makeup, the feeling of just being that princess on that morning. And to be honest, I've had
more.
one or two brides that are going to leave their wedding until another time, until they can experience it all from start to finish. Hopefully you'll only do it once in life, and you want to do it right on the day.
All right. Oh, sorry, there I am. All right, Jess. Thank you very much indeed for your message. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. I'm Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today.
The sound of the city, from Sallynoggin to Swords. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
Now, next on the here's a completely non-COVID-y topic altogether. We were talking about weddings and the importance of makeup and hair and everything else, but imagine the wedding never actually gets to the stage of being a wedding, if you know what I mean. You're engaged, but then it goes kind of pear-shaped and you end up not getting married. I have a question to ask you, and I want you to have a think about this for a second. How long should someone wait after a breakup of a serious relationship before moving on to a new relationship? And would you be upset if you broke up with someone after being together for a number of years only to find out 4 weeks later that they'd moved on? Now, it's a topic we've never discussed yet. It's something we've all been through at one stage or another. And we received a WhatsApp voice note during the show yesterday that sparked a huge debate among us here in the office. And the woman who sent the message is angry and upset. Have a listen to this message. It's kind of self-explanatory.
Hi, Adrian and Jeremy. I'm wondering, would you bring something up on your show for me? I was with a guy for 4 years. It was going really well. We were engaged, but unfortunately, we went our separate ways about a month ago. We just broke up mutually. So I was obviously heartbroken and kind of going through like a grieving period as such, and I got a message yesterday off one of my best friends that basically my ex, he's already moved on. He's posted a picture up on Instagram holding hands with his new woman and captioned it, "New beginnings." I'm absolutely devastated that he could move on so quick while I'm basically grieving, trying to get over this. Like 4 years is a long time. He was my best friend, and I just think it's, it's so disrespectful to, like, I just feel like the 4 years meant absolutely nothing. And did he even love me in those 4 years to move on so quickly and then to caption his new romance with new beginnings and paraded around publicly on social media is like just a real dagger to the heart, I suppose. Why is it that men just seem to be able to move on so quickly from something so long term and you're just wiped out?
Just wiped out. Just disappeared. So she was together 4 years with her fella, living together and engaged, and, everything obviously was going well. They broke up in mid-September mutually, and he moved back with his mammy. And yesterday she saw a picture of him on a walk with his new girlfriend holding hands up the mountains, and she got really upset. The caption read, "New beginnings," and it had heart emojis all over it. Now, she believes that their relationship obviously meant nothing to him if he could move on that quickly. But can you really put a time frame on how long someone should wait before moving on? I'd love to hear from you on this on 6797981. You can text, you can WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Valerie, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Valerie?
Hi, Adrian. How's it going?
Is there a length of time that you, before you move on?
I'm not sure, but I do know from my own experience that I had to, get counselling and stuff, when I had a breakup. So, I suppose everyone's different, but I do think it takes a lot more than a month to overcome something that was life-changing. So, if you get me.
So, okay, she said they split up mid-September mutually, okay? So they obviously agreed with each other, look, things aren't working out. It's time to go our separate ways. See you, good luck. And that's what happened. And that was over a month ago. But yesterday, she sees a picture of him with his new girlfriend holding hands up the mountains. And she got upset. But why should she get upset? Because
she obviously still had hope, though. I think she obviously still had hope that they were going to kind of, rekindle their relationship. And, I know I'd be devastated if my ex moved on very quick after we broke up. And it just, I don't know, there is always that little bit of hope, or maybe we will get back down the road, we can work things out, I say. And, I don't know.
Would you be upset?
Well, I actually broke up with my ex back in April.
Right.
So I am still kind of healing from that. So I am getting counselling and stuff and just healing my own, self-worth and all the rest. But yeah, it takes longer than a month, I guess.
Sorry, and how long were you with your ex?
I was with him. How long was I with him? I was actually only with him a year, but we just moved in together, and he went back on the alcohol during the lockdown. So I had to leave, And
you say you've been going for counselling over it?
I was going for I actually had to go into a refuge, and I had.
Oh right, okay. Well, I want to be very careful about the information you tell me. Then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but, so the question is, has she any reason to be upset? They've split up. They've gone their separate ways. They've both moved on. Well, he's moved on kind of a little bit quicker than he did, or than she did, and she's upset by it. What's to be upset over when you've mutually agreed to split up?
I don't know, but if he's posting stuff on Facebook and putting love hearts saying new beginnings, it's obviously a dig back at her. I don't know, there's probably digs going back and forward, because any other person would keep that on the low, especially after a month.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, maybe she should stop following him on Instagram or wherever it is on social media she's seen the photograph.
Yeah, he's obviously trying to get back at her. Maybe she did the same to him. I don't know. So it's hard to know, but because we're only listening to one side. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, stay there for 1 second, Valerie. Let's have a listen to Rose's story. Rose, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Rose.
Hi, how are you?
Now, you moved on pretty quick.
I did, yeah. It's actually very funny the way you said maybe she should stop following him on Instagram or his social account.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Yeah, I was with my previous partner for 5 years, right? I could see that things were going absolutely nowhere, and he wasn't bothered at all. And I said, look, it's not working. We have to go down separate ways. I wanted different things than what he wanted. And then, he was only, you could say, the only proper relationship I ever had. And then I met my husband within about 2 to 3 weeks. And that was it.
3 weeks?
About 3 weeks after we split up, and it was completely accident. My friend invited to go play poker, which I don't play. I don't know the rules or anything, but she insisted. So we went for the good company, and he was there, and we met, and Well, I think within about 7 months from our starting relationship, I got pregnant, and then we had a baby, then we got engaged, we bought the house, and then we got married, and we had another baby. And it's just, that's how life is. And I believe that especially the woman said their breakup was mutual. So obviously she did want it. And if she goes back to the social media looking up at his pictures and she's upset with him being with someone else, she obviously didn't want it split up in the first place, then isn't that the way?
This is the bit I can't really understand. That she says they split up mutually,
but yet she keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
so he doesn't,
yeah, that's the bit I kind of find a little bit odd.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, does she wants to make him suffer? Does she believe that he's going to run back to her and say, "Oh, look, let's do the way you want the things done"? And there's more to that than just this in the story. Like, I believe she's hurt that he moved on. From my point of view, quick or not quick, but he moved on, and she probably just can't move on. That's where the problem is. And if it's meant for you, it's going to come within 10 years or within 10 days.
Right, so she needs to build a bridge, basically. Is that what you're saying?
I believe, definitely. Yeah. I'm it was mutual decision to split up, so just move on, girl. He's not worth it, obviously.
Okay, you can't have your cake and eat it, basically. That's
exactly.
If you've split up, you've split up, and if he's moved on. But isn't it a sign, though, Rose, that by moving on that quickly, then the previous... Are you not meant to kind of...
Do you really believe that he moved on just because maybe he wanted to hurt her? Maybe it's not real. I mean, if it is real, fair play to him, and I'm happy for him that he has a new relationship. But is it really... not just to show off like that? Well, I have to say, when I started going out with my husband, I wasn't, no way on earth I thought I'm going to get married to that man and I'm going to have kids and I'm going to live the life that I live now. But I'm just so happy. I couldn't believe how quickly we clicked on and how much of things that we wanted to do together were the same. Everything just flew.
Okay, so 3 weeks later you had moved on.
Yeah. Somewhere around the 3 weeks.
Well, there you go, Valerie. It does happen. 3 weeks later, she'd moved on.
I'm not sorry, and I'm not looking back. I never was into too much going out or to many relationships. Short, he was. You could say he was the first serious relationship. He was the first man, and I just didn't. He just wasn't for me. And you don't see that while you're in a relationship, obviously. Only when you break up, you realise, oh my God, I wasted 5 years of my time doing. Thanks God I didn't marry that man. Thanks God I didn't have any kids from him. It's very hard, and I believe that woman is suffering for what you call post split up sulking syndrome. But I'm sure she'll get over this.
She'll get over it.
Life is too short to waste on a bad relationship, and that's that.
Okay, so she's the one who needs to build the bridge and let him off with it.
Definitely. I have to say, you have to move on. You just can't do this to yourself. You'll end up ruining your life trying to follow him and see who he has relationship and who he's not, and he's moved on and he's not. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
How could you live like that?
All right, stay there for 1 second. Let's bring in a man on this. And Joe, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Joe?
How are you doing, Adrian?
I'm good, thanks, Joe. Well, Joe, what did you want to say on this?
Well, the only way to get over a woman is to get under another.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
Well, they split up, they moved on. There's no point sitting around waiting. Get out there and jump back on the horse,
I know, but it's fairly quick now, isn't it? 4 weeks later, and he's got love hearts and...
Well, he's moved on. They agreed to split up. There's no point. You only get one shot at life. Don't hang around waiting for something to happen. Go out and get it. That's it. It didn't work with them. Okay, move on. I was in a relationship for 6 years. Split up, kid and all, living together. Split up. 3 weeks later, I'm now with my current wife. 17 years.
Yeah.
3 more kids.
I know,
and that was 3 weeks later.
Can you not understand why it would upset somebody? I mean, do you not need a kind of a grieving period after a relationship? They were engaged. It wasn't just like little boyfriend and girlfriend. These two were engaged.
Yeah, I was living with a girl with a child and engaged. And 3 weeks later, I was with somebody else. And I'm still with that person now 17 years later. Happy as ever. You can't sit around and wait and be morbid. You can't sit around and wait and be morbid. You have to go out and get what you want. You have to just go and do it. What does she want to do? Sit there for 3 months crying and thinking about all the good times they had? They must have been that good if they're split up.
Yeah, maybe so. I suppose. Yeah,
you know,
okay.
You only get one shot. You could be gone off this air tomorrow. Jump back on the horse, get back out there, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
And Rose, you agree with that? Just get on with it, and if something happens with it...
Absolutely 100%. Like
you only get one shot.
Exactly. You only get one shot. Like, I know people that when we were teenagers, the girl was going out with a guy, I think he was 17, and then she split up with him. And, like, even till this day, she's single and she's now, like, over 30, like me. She's my age. But she's biting herself now on the backside saying, like, oh, my God, I ruined my life just because I thought he was going to come back.
Exactly. Time runs out. You know, you need as much time to try and find the right person. How many people have you met that have met people and they knew within a week, this is the one for me?
Oh, there you go. That's the point.
And that does happen. That does happen. It happened to me. And 17 years later, I'm married.
Joe, do you not get how? And I'll describe what she saw online. Yesterday...
her friend showed her a picture, so obviously they have each other blocked.
Well, I don't know what the situation...
Her friend showed her a picture.
Yesterday, she saw a picture of him on a walk with his new girlfriend, holding hands up the mountains, and the caption read, "New beginnings," and it had lots of heart emojis. Now,
he's going out and trying again. You know, he's giving it another shot. So that not entice her to do the same. So, well, if he's doing it, I might as well do it. Instead of, contacting a radio station and crying about it. Get back out there. Put yourself out there. There's somebody for everybody. Go and find them. That's it.
Okay, all right, stay there for a second. Let's have a listen to this from Claire on a WhatsApp voice note.
Men move on quicker than women do. Everybody knows that. Some men just can't be alone. They have to have someone. So she needs to just do her grieving, do what she needs to do, get her friends to stop sending her shite on social media, and just get on with her life. And stop humiliating herself, because that's all she's doing is humiliating herself.
Oh, right, okay. We'll take a quick break. I'd love to hear from you on this. How soon is too soon to move on after and it was a serious relationship. They were engaged to be married. But for whatever reason, it broke down in September. They split up. He's gone his way. She's gone her way. And she's a little bit upset with the photograph she saw yesterday of him with his new girlfriend after only 4 weeks. How soon is too soon?
The sound of the city, from Coolock to Cabinteely. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy.
We're asking how soon is too soon to move on when a relationship breaks down. We were contacted by one of our listeners. She's a little bit upset. She was with her fella for 4 years. They were engaged to be married. They were living together. Everything was going hunky-dory. And obviously, I don't know what happened between the two of them, but they broke up in mid-September mutually. Maybe the whole lockdown got to them. I don't know. So he moved back to his mother. And yesterday, she gets shown a photograph on social media of him with his new girlfriend holding hands up the mountains. And the caption read, "New beginnings." And it was full of heart emojis. And she's a little bit put out about it. Bob sent me this.
How are you, lads? Listen to moaning Minnie there. I'm surprised your man didn't move on 4 years ago. Get over it. Good luck.
Here's another male opinion from Brian.
Hey Adrian, how you doing? Just about that lady that rang in that broke up with her partner, or they broke up together. The thing about it is, you see, he probably finished with her in his head 3 or 4 months before they actually broke up. And that's why he's able to get over it quicker than her. But in fairness, I'm sure if he saw her holding hands with someone else, it would probably be a bit sore for him. It's just she can't see that. Anyway, love the show. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Brian. Bear, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you see why somebody might be a little bit upset seeing a photograph only a few weeks later?
Absolutely. Yeah, like breakups are hard. I went through one last year myself. I was nearly 11 years. I was 11 years married, 19 years with the same guy, and I split up from my husband last January, 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no right or wrong answer here. Like, everybody's feelings is hard.
And as a matter of interest, have either of you moved on?
Yeah, he moved on pretty quickly. He moved on in May of last year. This May, I met somebody, and I'm very happy. But I still would have got a little bit of criticism this year, because I was because I was 19 years with the same person. It's people's opinions, it's everybody.
So sorry, even though you split up last year, and then in May of this year you met somebody new, and you've been criticised for that.
Yeah, well,
some people saying that was too quick.
Some people would have said, you're think of the kids, and am I doing the right thing? Yeah, they would. People are very quick to criticise.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, how did you feel after 19 years together when a few months later he had moved on?
I personally thought it was too soon.
Too soon for whom?
For him. I thought, after 19 years together with the same person, within 3 months to be with somebody else was a little bit too soon. But that was his decision. He was leaving me alone. We split up. We have 3 kids together. We have to get along for the sake of the kids. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him now. At the time, I was a little bit resentful because I was on my own. I don't think it was because he was with somebody else. It was that I was looking at him with somebody else.
Yes.
And I was on my own.
And maybe that's this woman's problem as well.
It could be. It possibly could be. Was this guy right for putting it on social media? I don't agree with him putting it on social media. I think absolutely if he wants to move on with his life, that's his decision. But he didn't have to broadcast it on social media. Just a little bit.
I do think, and in fact, I'm about to play another voice note from somebody saying that posting it on social media was a little bit insensitive.
Insensitive, yeah. I mean,
knowing full well that she's going to see it.
Absolutely.
But maybe that's why you did it.
It possibly could be. It could be a tactic. It could be make her see that he's moving on, and maybe he wants her back. Maybe he wants to make her jealous. I don't know. We don't know what happened. We don't know why they split up.
All she said was that they broke up in September mutually, whatever that means. So they agreed.
So if it was a mutual decision, then obviously there was no feelings there on her part either. So I don't understand why she would get so worked up about him moving on. I can understand that she is upset, but
for you, after 19 years of relationship and marriage, you thought a couple of months later was a bit quick to be moving on for your ex-husband?
I did, yeah. We were married, we were living together, we had 3 children together, and he was very much, supposedly heartbroken, when we split up.
But then you've heard previous callers saying, when you're in that situation, the best way to recover is get back on the horse again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And has it made it easier on you? And this is the bit I'm curious about. Has it made it easier on you now that you are in a newer relationship?
No, I wouldn't say so. No, because that was last year, and I had a whole year before I met my partner now. And it wasn't even that I was upset that he had that he was moving on. I was thinking more of my feelings, that I was on my own. I think that was my
and a little bit bitter towards him.
Yeah. It was like, oh, he's got somebody. Why haven't I got somebody?
But the good news is you have now.
I have indeed.
That's great. That's good. Delighted to hear that.
Thank you.
All right, Bear, great to talk to you, and thanks very much indeed. Let's have a listen to that WhatsApp I was just referring to. It was a little bit insensitive to post it online. This is Sarah.
Hi guys. I just think that every relationship is different, and you can't really put a time limit on it, and we don't really know the full story about what was going on there. I don't understand why her friends needed to tell her straight away. I don't think it's done her any good. I think it's just made her feel crap. So yeah, I think maybe when people break up, they should have a mutual agreement, not to discuss if they meet someone new, or maybe not to post anything if they want to be sensitive about it.
All right, Sarah, thanks very much indeed. And another voice note from Siobhan.
Hi, Adrian. I tell that girl not to worry what he posts on social media, because if our lives were as good in real life as they are on social media, then sure, wouldn't the world be a great place? And also, I think men in general tend to move on quicker, but it sounds like a bit of a rebound relationship, and it's probably not going to work out. So by the time she's moved on and forgotten about it, I can guarantee you he's going to be coming back texting her.
So rebounds never work, basically. Aoife, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Aoife.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Now, just to let our listeners know, we have put your voice through the voice disguise for various different legal reasons, and don't really go into it, but that's why we're disguising your voice.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened only 2 months after you broke up with your husband.
2 months after I broke up with my husband, he was at a family gathering with his the girl he cheated on with me, and he had a gorgeous picture of him, her, and my in-laws. On social media.
Right. So within a couple of weeks, he has the new woman with his family plastered all over social media, and he had cheated on you with this girl.
Yes.
Which is why your relationship ended.
Yes, I call it.
Now, okay, the relationship was over. It obviously didn't end well, listening to what you're saying. Why did that bother you?
It just really hurt. I think it was really disrespectful. That he didn't care enough about my feelings, and obviously his parents didn't either, to say that they were all there looking happy as can be, after we were married 7 years and together 10 years, and after 2 months, that
he was playing happy families within a couple of weeks of you breaking up.
Families, yeah. I always say it like the one regret I have is that, the one regret is that he didn't tell me that he wasn't happy. I didn't know until I started thinking about that, he was having an affair. But everyone moves on different. I'm so happy now. I'm lucky to be out of that relationship, because that's the type of person he kind of turned into, very selfish. But that's totally what it is disrespectful, and this girl should be happy that she's out of that relationship, because if he can do that, then he obviously didn't care for her at all.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I do.
So hang on. So the fact that he is out for a walk, holding hands, with a caption on social media saying new beginnings and loads of heart emojis all over the picture, you think that that's a sign that he didn't care for her at all?
Yeah.
Because if he did...
If he did, you wouldn't do that.
But when do you eventually do that?
I'd have given it more than 2 or 3 months, and thought of her feelings. I mean, obviously, and I think her friends were right to tell her, by the way. I do think they were right to tell her. Because you want to hear that from a friend rather than, maybe finding it on social media. It was actually his cousin's page that my ex-husband came up on, that the photographs were all over it. And I got the shock of my life when I saw it. Especially when it was with my mother and father-in-law. And they're all laughing in the photographs and that. So... I just think a lot longer than 2 or 3 months, to put something
so
like that.
So do you have to grieve a relationship?
I did. Well, with me, I did. I truly did. I mourned our relationship. I mourned it.
Okay, and I get that, because you were the one left high and dry, basically, and I understand.
I was just really...
But from what you're telling me, he'd been having an affair with your woman anyway, so he'd already moved on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he had already moved on, but there was lies all the way through that he said that he split up with her and he wasn't with her and all that kind of thing, you know. So, but I had asked him after this because I found out obviously that he was still with her after 6-7 weeks, and I had said it to him. I said the one thing I don't want you to do is to disrespect me by bringing her to he was English, let's say. So by bringing her to England, just that's very disrespectful for me. I thought that you just don't do that.
Okay, but he'd been disrespectful to you anyway by having the affair in the first place. So what what difference does it really make in the long run?
I just honestly thought, you know, it's like right after so many years that you think that kind of a thing wouldn't hurt me. You know, it's a very selfish thing.
Okay, so by posting these photographs of him playing happy families with his new woman and his parents, your parents-in-law, you think just added insult to injury that you'd already been inflicted?
It was like none of his family cared about what he did.
Not just him.
And to be honest, I guarantee you half of them don't know anyway, because they wouldn't be the type to, you know, to say that.
But families do always stick together, don't they?
Oh, they do. They do. You know, because I can remember at the time my mum saying to his mum, like, I don't want you to hate your son. I just want you to hate what he's done. You know? But it just proves that they just don't care.
All right, stay there for 1 second because I've another Aoife on the other line here. Aoife, good morning to you.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
Grand, thanks, Aoife. Same thing happened to you.
Yeah, I was devastated at the time, but like looking back, I'm just like, I'm much happier now. Like I went off, I lived my single life, like, and had so much fun with the girls, went on dates, and like now I have like the most amazing boyfriend in the world. Like, so it'll work out for her. Everything will be fine.
I mean, you say the same thing happened to you. What are we talking about? How long afterwards had he moved on, basically?
Oh, 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit...
Like, I can laugh at it now, but yeah, at the time I was completely devastated. But like, sure, I suppose life goes on.
Devastated for what? How long had you been with him?
2 years.
Were you engaged or anything?
Oh God, no.
Oh God, no.
So it was easy for me to move on, I suppose.
Okay,
easier.
yeah. So you weren't engaged. You were just in a relationship for 2 years. Did you break up mutually, or did he dump you, or did you dump him?
Well, actually, I broke up with him because, well, a complicated story, but he did something really horrible, and someone had texted me saying that he'd been cheating on me. So I was like, right, okay, I better walk away from this relationship. But it didn't really make it any easier, I suppose.
And had he been cheating on you?
I don't know. I never found out the truth in the end, but
the fact that he was with a new woman within 2 weeks would make you think that perhaps he was.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah. And how did you see photographs online or what?
No, because I had blocked him off everything, and so of course my friends would text me and said it. But like, I never spoke to him, so... You know,
okay, so just like that message I played at the start, your friends tipped you off that there was these photographs online?
Yeah.
After only 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And did that say to you, because this is what this woman is thinking, did that say to you that he really didn't give a damn about you at all?
Oh, 100%, yeah. That's exactly how I felt at the time.
Right, so that lady who sent us the original message, with him 4 years, engaged to be married, they split up in September. To her, the photograph said, moving on that quickly says he really didn't give a damn about you in the first place.
Well, I don't know about her situation, but yeah, that's how
with
I
you.
felt. Yeah.
Oh, right. So there needs to be a little bit... If you did care about the person, you certainly don't let them know that you've moved on very quickly, even if you do. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think just don't post it on social media. Obviously, move on if you want, but just don't post it on social media, or maybe your friends don't tell you.
All right, Aoife, and everything's grand now. That's the main thing.
Yeah, couldn't be happier.
Good. Delighted to hear that. All right, let's have a listen to this from Ciara.
Hey, Adrian. Yeah, I think some of them are just heartless. I'm all for people being happy and,
moving on. But same thing happened to me. I was with a fella for 10 years, only recently moved in, only living together about 5 months, and we weren't really getting along, so we moved back into his ma's a few nights, and next of all I seen a message. I was shown a message and a picture on Instagram, hashtag new missus, when he was, as far as I was aware, still in the relationship with me. So yeah,
Right.
It's been done.
That's even worse. You thought you were still in a relationship with him. Bill sent me this.
Lads, did she not say a friend of hers told her about the Instagram post? She wasn't looking herself. But look, at the end of the day, they split up. It was a mutual split, so it doesn't matter what he does or what she does. You know what I mean? Just, get over it. Mind your own business. That's his life. That's what he wants to do. Do the same.
All right. This is from Claire.
She's clearly devastated. He clearly isn't. Maybe he met your woman and that's actually the reason they broke up and he just didn't have the balls to tell her.
That may well be the case, Claire. And one final WhatsApp voice note. This is from Mark.
To answer the question, there's no time frame on anything like this with a relationship. If they think they have the chance to move on and find something better, then absolutely. But as far as time frame when to start a new relationship, is it disrespectful? It happened to me before, about 3-4 weeks out of a relationship that was 4 years. Found that was disrespectful, but she decided to move on and I sat around grieving when I should have realistically just decided to move on with my own life. It's as simple as that. People obviously take different time frames on different situations, but it's completely up to yourself. If you want to grieve around, eat your Ben and Jerry's, cry, that's up to yourself. But realistically, you should be getting out there and finding something new. My advice is the next thing you should be doing is just hopping on the next person, to be honest.
Oh, such a male attitude. Thank you, Mark, for your message, and thank you, all of you, for your messages. So there is no right and wrong, but what I'm hearing is blokes seem to be able to just move on, no problem. Women think there should be at least a little bit of a gap, and certainly don't post photographs of your new love on social media unless a couple of months have lapsed. All right, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy. On the way after the break, our weekly Parent Talk slot.
The sound of the city, from Lucan to Lusk. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. 98 FM's Parent Talk with Super Value Home Delivery. Get your lunchbox fillers sorted with Super Value online shopping.
Every Wednesday at around about this time, we bring you our weekly slot Parent Talk, where our parenting expert Joanna Fortune joins us to answer your questions about the ever so complicated life of a parent and raising children of all ages. And we ask you to send in questions, and you're very welcome to do that right now. And if we don't get to it today, we will get to them next week. All you have to do is send your question to WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98, 0877 98 98 98. And Joanna Fortune joins me on the line. Joanna, good morning to you.
Good morning, Adrian. How are you?
Good, thank you. Joanna, we've two questions that we've carried over from last week that I want to put to you. So let's begin with this one. My 6-month-old baby hates being in the car and cries like mad when we put her in the baby seat. She's been like this since about 8 weeks. It makes driving anywhere so stressful as she simply won't stop crying. Any ideas why this is happening and how to stop it? And that's a message from Chris.
Oh, Chris, I mean, it's so stressful because you're in the front of the car driving. You can't respond or tend to them or soothe them, which, you're hardwired to do. And driving, listening to a baby getting more and more distressed is incredibly stressful and even distracting. What I would say to you is, in terms of why it's happening, it could be anything. It could be the motion of the car. It could be, that nobody's touching me. It could be that I'm not seeing anyone. It could be any of those things, or it could simply be, I don't like this sensory experience of being in the car. I'd rather be in your arms, or I'd rather be crawling or sitting on the floor. So instead of looking at why it's happening, try to look at ways that you can make the process a bit easier. So one of the things I'd suggest, there's no magic here, first of all, so you're going to have to try out a few things, but it's about making it predictable and consistent for your baby. Maybe having a little playlist that you play in the car of songs that that she likes, that soothe her. It could be nursery rhymes, things you sing in the house, playing those in the car so that's a familiar sound the minute she's in the car. Also, because at her age she'll be travelling facing backwards, often kids are looking, the little babies they're looking at the back of the seat and they can't see you. So maybe consider getting one of those, if you don't have one of those little mirrors that goes around the headrest so she can see herself while you're driving, but also using your rear view mirror, you can see her, which is actually quite soothing and regulating as a parent, even if crying, that you can respond and say, I see you, and you can use your voice. Using your voice is the third thing I'm going to suggest, because that is play and that is engaging for a baby. So that prosody of voice, which is the musicality, the pitch, pace, tone, using your voice to go up and down and to use that to playfully engage and co-regulate her when she's in that state. And it just takes time for them to get used to this. And look, I'm sure there are listeners going, I have a kid who never got used to the car.
Yeah.
Some of them just don't like being in the back on their own. They just don't like the motion of the car, the smell, the temperature. They just don't like it. Make sure that she's strapped in, of course you are, securely, so that she has that sense of being held, which also can have a regulatory effect, that kind of deep pressure input of being held. But I honestly think, and look, I remember myself, Adrian, my own little one, for the first, I'd say it was the guts of 12 weeks, absolutely hated the car. And just for me, I'm not saying it will work for everyone, the mirror was a game changer. Just being able to see herself and see I'm not alone. There's a baby in there. And not quite knowing yet it's me, but there's a baby in there, that had a huge soothing effect. So I think that's worth a try.
All right, very good, Joanna. Thanks very much. And then another message that we got in. Can you ask your parenting expert this? What is the right age to start potty training? My baby is 2.5 and we haven't started her yet, and people are saying I'm leaving it too late. What's the ideal age to start, and have you any tips for doing it quickly?
Oh, it's so much. I mean, people always say, people know. What the ideal age is very subjective. As soon as your child is showing you consistent cues that they are ready to potty train, that's when you do it, and not a minute before. Sometimes I think people potty train, because you think, gosh, I must have it done by 2. But I often find that, whether you train your child at 2 or 3, they're trained by 3. So you want to be paying attention to the cues your child is giving you, not what anyone else is telling you they should be doing. Those cues would be alerting you when they have a wee or a poo coming, and actually saying to you, oh, I'm going to go to the toilet, or alerting you immediately after they've gone, showing signs I recognise that actually I'm sitting in something and I need to be changed. Showing an interest and a curiosity in the toilet. You could certainly start having the little toilet seat there and a little step or whatever you're going to use, and, letting them get interested in the toilet. Bringing in a couple of little books, story books. There's tons of them out there about potty training, and you could use one of a character that she might like in a book series, or maybe a little cartoon series that she likes. You could get a book like that and just start introducing the idea of it before you actually start doing it. But if she's not showing you signs, an interest, alerting you when the nappy has happened, or being able to go longer periods of time with a dry nappy before she goes, so she's showing you, I'm able to hold this for a prolonged period of time, then she's not ready. And if she's not ready, don't do it regardless of what anyone is saying, because it's just going to be really difficult and you're going to be going forwards and backwards on it. In terms of tips for doing it quickly, I wish I had a little, strategy. I could say, you get it done in a few days. I think, if your child is really ready for this and you come at it, in a prepared way, ideally it'll be done within 2 weeks, but you're going to have to be very patient, very calm and very consistent, and allow that this is something new that they're learning. So any new learning experience is about testing it out and going, do I want to do it? Do I not? What do I get for doing it? How does this work? So some mild regression, you might have a couple of good days and then a bad day. It doesn't mean it's not working. You have to persevere with that. Something I think works really well is to ensure that their feet are supported when they're on the toilet, that the seat fits them and that their feet aren't dangling, because it gives them a sense of security and structure while they're sitting there. So it physically organises them and makes it a more appealing process. So consider getting one of those stepladder seats that she can climb up on, and that the little ledge is right under her feet, so it's very safe and secure, because she's more likely to sit there for longer to allow the process to happen, because it's not scary. I'm not dangling. I don't think I'm going to fall. But I would be very much led by the child on this one. And I've seen so many parents deeply regret training too early.
All right, brilliant as always, Joanna, and we've already gotten questions in that we'll put to you next week.
Okay.
In the meantime, Joanna Fortune, thank you very much indeed for joining us. That is our parenting expert, Joanna. And once again, if you do have any questions you'd like me to put to her next week on anything to do with parenting, you can send us an email to dublintalks@98fm.com or send a WhatsApp to us. And 98FM's Parent Talk is with SuperValue online shopping, supervalue.ie. Thank you for joining us today. Back again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Barry Dunn is on the way, and in the next hour he's got some great music lined up like these.
98 FM.